Transition services are described in several sections. We're going to start with an individualized education program. It's under Title 34, Code of Federal Regulations, Section 300.320. And essentially this is what we've covered before, a definition of an individualized education program, an IEP. And if we move down to Section B, we see the requirements for transition services. They shouldn't begin later than when your child turns age 16. Sometimes they start at 14, but almost always they start at age 16. And they're updated annually. And essentially your goals and objectives in your IEP, which we already covered, but we'll do another notice of IEP and a copy of an IEP to show you what's in a transition plan. But generally they start at age 16. Your goals and objectives start to change towards measurable post-secondary goals based upon appropriate transition assessments, education, employment, and independent living skills. And this list isn't exclusive. There can be more things involved, but pretty much you're just talking about transition services during the IEP. The definition of transition services is at 300.43, and it is a coordinated set of activities for a child with a disability that results in an orientated process, improving the academic, functional achievement of a child with a disability. And here's where it kind of gets into some things that you'll be looking at in the meeting: post-school activities, including post-secondary education, vocational education, integrated employment, adult education, adult services, which could be DD services, developmental disability services, independent living, and we'll talk more about all the considerations you need to do, but independent living, community-based participation, it's all based upon the individual needs of the child and your child's strengths, preferences, and interests. And this is why your child needs to attend the meeting, because in order to know these things, your child needs to be there. And once they're 16, this plan needs to be geared towards them, not just an education. So it's important that they attend. And what do you talk about? Instruction, related services, community experiences, all of your post-school and adult living objectives. Like I told you, your IEP objectives will change. And if appropriate, acquisition of daily living skills, not so different, and vocational evaluation to determine where your child would like to go. So once again, it goes back to strengths, preferences, and interests. And that's why you do a vocational evaluation. And that's what they describe in the IEP. And so that is the rules and regulations on transition services. They're not extensive, and like I told you once before, this is where you need to access the school and other agencies in order to give your child the best chance during transition to move on from school to work.